You see that, Earl? The name of the song was "You Can Mess With My Man." No, you can mess with my husband, but don't mess with my man.
That's why I forgot it. It should have been the other way around. But anyway, the next female that we're going to speak about is Charmaine Neville.
Charmaine
who's
Neville.
in the family of she's in a very talented family.
A legacy of musicians.
That's right, from the Neville brothers, even down to the deaf generation. Charmaine Neville is right in the middle, and she's just as talented as the rest of the family.
She most certainly is. She has a unique character.
Yeah, and she has a style. I mean, she can go out somewhere and she has a style where, okay, that's Charmaine. She has a nice little character and style about herself. So we're going to see some clips that we've done about Miss Charmaine Neville, and we'll learn, as we did the other guests, the history, the reason why she started singing, the many places as well as countries that she's been performing in. And we're going to go right there, and we're going to come right back. So you stay right there, and you come right back.
And look at Charmaine Neville.
Sure. I know you have different characters in your shows.
Quite a few.
Right, there's one character in particular, I can't really describe it. It's sort of like a jazz, what do you call it?
I don't know.
The guy with the deep voice.
Oh, that's Louis Armstrong.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, Louis Armstrong. Okay.
You just broke my heart. No, that started off as a joke. I used to impersonate people all the time, and somebody asked me one night, could I do Louis Armstrong? And I told them, oh, sure, joking, and they had no idea whether or not I could do it or not, and just started doing it because I'd been listening to Louis Armstrong most of my life, listening to his records, and not so much for his singing, but for the way that he articulated when he was singing. You always listen to how, if you can understand what someone is saying. And I tried it, and it happened, and it stuck, and now every day people go, do Louis Armstrong. So I don't consider myself a jazz singer. I wish I could be a jazz singer, but I'm not. I don't consider myself a pop singer or any other kind of, I just feel like I'm an entertainer, and I'm going to do whatever I feel like at that moment. That's what's going to come from me. I do country and western, I do jazz, I do funk, I do rock and roll, I do rap. I mean, so there's not any set, there's not anything that I could really put myself in a category. Because see, everything I got came from the people right here. And if I was to take everything that I have, everything that I've accomplished, and all of this that the people in the city and the children and everyone has given to me to make me succeed in what I'm trying to do and leave, I won't have any more good luck. And I know that. I feel like, everything I have accomplished is because of people in this city. Right. And, I mean, all my stuff in different cities and in different countries and stuff has helped. It's been wonderful. But most of my energy and everything comes from right here in this city, and I won't be going anywhere. I mean, I go off and do little things, but New Orleans is home. Yeah? Yeah, people say to me all the time, you're a Neville. God, that must have been so wonderful. It was so this, it was so that. And yeah, it is. I'm very proud to be a part of the family and have that heritage and that history. But no, it hasn't been an easy road. It never has been. I mean, now it's starting to get a little easier, but I'm not making my living off of the Neville brothers' publicity and their popularity and everything. I'm making everything that I've done is because Charmaine got out there and fought and scratched and kicked and bit and did everything for her. It's true. I mean, I've had to, there's been a lot of things that I've had to do to even get people to listen to me. And a lot of people would say, oh, they've just got her up there because her last name is Neville, and didn't realize that I was really serious about what I was doing and what I had planned for myself. And you just have to, just like I told the kids this morning, I went and talked to a group of kids, and I told them this morning, a little girl told me, well, I'm waiting, because I know somebody gonna come and they're gonna give me a record contract. I said, baby, you'll be waiting till the day you die, because nothing comes to you from sitting around and waiting. I went and I knocked on doors. I handed out pamphlets. I handed out tapes. I went and made people listen to me, and that was the only way I got it.
I sit here and talk to you all day.
I know.
Okay, Earl.
What?
Let's talk about some of the young role models of our community.
Okay, let's.
Who shall we talk about first?
Let's first begin with the beautiful black college queens that we had on our program.
Oh,
Do you
yeah,
remember
that was a
the college
real good
queens?
show. Yeah.
Yeah, we had 4 representatives of 4 homecoming queens from each of the universities surrounding our area.
There were what? SUNO,
Southern University of New Orleans,
Grambling
State University,
Xavier University of Louisiana,
Old Tide Xavier,
Rah-rah.
And also we had Dillard University. We talked to the 4 young ladies about their reign as queens of the school,
Exactly.
the pressures and problems that they had, and
the
also
obligations that they had to meet, because
Sure.
it takes more than good looks to be a good college queen.
Yeah, so we're going to reflect on those things and more, and I want you to keep continuing to watch our program because we have a lot more to offer later on in the show. So don't go anywhere, and let's see some beautiful black homecoming college queens.
Of the school and being an ambassador, a spokesman for the university.
Well, first of all, this year has been very strenuous. I've learned how to manage my time as well as balance my other duties. The year has been wonderful. I've met a lot of people, and it's an experience that I'll carry with me throughout my life.
Yeah, I believe that the feeling is mutual, as Michelle said. It is a great experience because to know that you're looked up upon by your peers, to know that, you know, hey, they chose me to represent them, you know, over everyone at the university. And it has been a wonderful experience, and it is something that you will always, because I'll always be known as Miss Dillard University 1989-90, and I'll always have to uphold, you know, the image that Dillard University portrays.
Okay, well, I concur with other ladies. It has truly been an honor to represent my peers and to be a representative of Grambling State University. Grambling State has over 6,000 students, and to be recognized by that mass majority of students is indeed an honor.
That's a lot of people.
Yes, yes, it is.
It's also an honor for me to represent Southern University at New Orleans. It is a commuter campus, but Southern University at New Orleans also is large. We have over 4,000 students this semester also.
That's pretty big.
So
Okay.
I think that most college queens are people who are outgoing, and they're known all over the campus. I mean, I think that,
Y'all be everywhere.
yeah, basically,
You
I
have
mean,
to be for this position.
I mean, I think queen material for most universities is someone with a personality, someone who can communicate, you know, with all the students, and it's not one who goes with one set group. It's a universal person, someone that's well-rounded.
Good night.
Sonia.
Yeah, Sonia, who was at the What is a Man program. She was very defensive of our young men.
She sure was.
She put up a very strong attitude as far as why young men do what they do, which was somewhat controversial because
it was quite.
Yeah, she had a lot of bad things to say about him. But
Most
also,
of them true.
I don't know. But also you said that she also had some very interesting things that make you say, not but yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Let's take a look at Sonia.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. When she became pregnant and told us that she was pregnant, it affected myself, my husband, and my daughter, who also lives at home, because we had to rearrange our whole schedule. No matter what, you look at it from the outside, and you think, oh, well, she's just having a baby. It's not really that much. But you're looking at another mouth to feed. You're looking at medical problems that may occur. And you have to rearrange your whole lifestyle, because now, whereas I used to leave home and just bring her to school, now we have to find a way to pay for a sitter and bring the baby to a sitter, bring her to school. And so it affects you mentally, financially, emotionally, Every way that there is, you are affected by this life coming in. I mean, I myself was a teenage mother, and my first sexual experience was in retaliation against my parents' demands on me. But the guy that I was with, I thought that we were one-on-one, okay? But I found out later that he got another girl pregnant. So there it is. It's you know, that's how it just goes. It goes just like that. That you continue to think that you're the only one, but you're not the only one. Right. And this is where I bring in the point of protection. And using the condom is so important, because when you have sexual relation with this person, you're thinking that you're having it only with him, but you're actually having it with the other girls or girls that you don't know.
When you talk,
so they do not even think of protection or anything. All they're doing, they're looking at this guy like I'm looking at you, and they're saying, you know, that's it. Yeah. You know, there's no thought about it whatsoever. So protection does not come into the mind. And this is where responsibility comes in on both the guy and the female. But more so the guy, if he has that much control, because he's aware of how much he can do. I don't know how else to say it, but it's hard to just say no. But so what you have to stress, if you can't get them to totally abstain, then you have to stress protection. You have to stress, say, safe sex, because this is what's left. This is what goes beyond the abstinence. So the only way to avoid it is to stress this. But education is important, because they need to know that that this is not a toy to play with. This is not something that you just do. Because something does come out of it, and it is a human life that starts out as a little cute little baby looking like a baby doll, and it grows up to be something like me and them. Right. You know, it's not something that you just throw away.
Now when we talk about contraceptives,
yeah, I kind of liked Sonia. She was real good, real good. We have to invite her back on, and we can have like live call-ins, and people can ask her questions about her different views and comments.
Right.
I want to remind you again, we're here live at the Black Expo. Positive Black Talk is the official camera crew here. As you see, we are showing you some scenes from the exposition that's held here.
Everybody's enjoying it quite a lot.
And in the background, you can hear that there is a concert going on. I think it sounds something like reggae. But anyway, let's get back to our program, Positive Black Talk. Our next guest we're going to talk about is Miss Barbara Major. Remember Miss Major?
Yes, Barbara Major from whose organization
She's from the People's Institute, the People's Learning Institute, and beyond. Yeah. Okay. And she also talked about some interesting things about race relationships as far as cultures and things like that. And she told Nicole that black people can't be prejudiced against each other. She also had some very comments that we talked about on the program. So we're going to show you Miss Barbara Major. Stay tuned. We're live at the Black Expo. Right now we're going to talk to Miss Major, and we'll be right back. Right?
Right.
Back. Right?
Back.
Yes.
So we're going to close it?
Yeah, we're going
to. You're talking about further than black and white. But to some people that's listening out, let's define that term racism. I mean, what do we mean when we say racism?
I usually don't define racism unless I'm in the workshop doing the process, because a lot of folk can't handle our definition of racism. We define racism as race prejudice plus power, which in the continental United States, what that in fact means that no person of color in fact cannot be racist, and all white people are. It doesn't mean that they're bigots or David Duke, but it means that they have a special relationship just simply by their skin color with the institutions in this country. And also does not mean that there is something about people of color, for lack of another name, that says we cannot be racist, that there's something biologically different about us. It just means that we don't control the institutions in America, and that there are certain relationships that we're born to as people of European descent. But we do believe that white people, in fact, can be anti-racist and work against racism, but you have to be actively working against it. If not, you benefit from it, and everything that's done in a racist way is done on behalf of white people.
Barbara, in your workshops, do you all discuss inward racism, racism among you and I, as far as me being jealous of you or what you have or your skin color or what have you?
There could be no racism between you and I.
There couldn't be any
No,
racism?
you might, and that's why I say you have to be in a workshop to understand all the dynamics in terms of how we've been pitted against each other. The closer you are to white, the better you are. But realistically, white folks still control that. They control how we think and have us thinking that some of us are better than the others because we're lighter skinned. But the fact is we may have color prejudice. And we act out sometimes violently with that, and that's an evil too, that color prejudice. But racism is totally different.
So
and as when I say, when I say, go ahead, I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is there's a difference between racism and prejudice.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Not only are they spelled.
Y'all see I'm having a good time, can't stop moving. But anyway, we're at the Black Expo as we
and there's a lot of great food here. A lot of great
food from
free food, yeah.
Free food, and we've eaten a lot. But the purpose of all this was to let you know about a celebration of black women.
A celebration of what?
Black women,
A celebration of black women.
Which will be sponsored by Positive Black Talk.
True indeed. This celebration will give recognition to 10 outstanding, not 10 ordinary women, but 10 outstanding black women in the city of New Orleans and surrounding parishes. It will begin with a press conference, a parade down Canal Street. We're going to have some special guest speakers at this celebration. We're also going to have an essay contest, which is going on now.
Right, and we're also looking for the oldest black woman of New Orleans.
The oldest black woman of New Orleans will be also honored at the celebration of black women. There'll be a trade fair. There's going to be a lot of things going on at this celebration. So, as far as Positive Black Talk showing you all the outstanding black women we've had on Positive Black Talk, it was pretty much to lead you into what we're trying to do now as far as showing that our young men, as well as our young women, that we do have some strong, prominent
female role models in the city of New Orleans.
In the city of New Orleans. So if you hear more about it, you can come out and enjoy a celebration of black women. As I said before, we'll have a parade down Canal Street, beginning at Armstrong Park. And it's going to be very educational, very entertaining.
It is. Now, for more information, you can call us at 821-4427 as soon as possible. The number is 821-4427. I'm going to be famous for that line.
Nicole is reminiscing over the show we did with the McDonald 35. The number is 8. No. Anyway, I'm glad you all tuned back into Positive Black Talk. We hope that you continue to watch Positive Black Talk.
And remember that Positive Black Talk is something that you and you and you and you and everyone else should understand. My name is Earl Mackey. And I'm Nicole Payton. Ciao.
My name is Earl Mackey.
And I'm Nicole Payton. Welcome to Positive Black Talk.
Positive Black Talk, a community service organization, will be sponsoring a celebration of black women on October 26, 1991.
This celebration will recognize 10 outstanding black women of the New Orleans area.
There'll be special guest speakers, live entertainment.
We're also looking for the oldest black woman of New Orleans.
Come and enjoy a parade down Canal Street and a grand finale at the Clarion Hotel.
For more information, call 821-4427. Hello, New Orleans. My name is Earl Mackey.
And I'm Nicole Payton. Welcome to Positive Black Talk.
Today we're here live on the set of Black Expo USA.
As you can see, the people are really having fun over there at all the booths and...
Yes, we've been having lots of great food and we've been looking at different black-owned businesses.
We sure have. And right now on our set, when we come back from our commercial break, we're going to introduce you to Mr. George Subera, author of 2 books concerning black businesses and how we can prosper.
So freeze and don't touch that dial, because we'll be right back with more
Positive Black Talk.
Sooner or later, everyone quits smoking. One way or another.
A message from the physicians of the Louisiana State Medical Society.
Hi, and we're back here on the set of Positive Black Talk at Black Expo USA. Today we would like to welcome a guest, Mr. George Subera. Thank you for joining Positive Black Talk today.
Very good.
You are the author of 2 books, correct?
Well, 3 books. I just have 2 of them with me here.
Okay.
Right.
And they're about black people, African American, about starting their own businesses as well as selling their products and services.
Right. What I've done is I've taken up the issue of finances and broken it up into certain parts. The first book, Black Folks Guide to Making Big Money in America, came out about 11 years ago. And basically what it did was like an orientation session to our people about the money world, because basically we're not really taught anything about money and money management in the school system or on the college level. So I talked about credit, I talked about time management, money management, creativity and its role in the idea of setting up a business, general principles of success, how to go about buying a home, and other issues related to that.
So these books pretty much are geared to help African Americans to start their own business as far as to control different markets as in contrast to working for others. It's about controlling your own business, providing the service on your own and hiring your own employees and such as that.
Right. I'm kind of swimming up the stream because most of the educational programs that are involved in our colleges train business-minded African Americans to go right into the corporate world and work for corporations, which is okay, but that really doesn't help our community much. It just helps make more money for the Fortune 500 corporations in exchange for a salary. Sooner or later, some of those college-educated people should share their knowledge of business and marketing and accounting and finance with the community in terms of setting up a business in the community and hopefully hiring some of our people in the process. But they have to be almost reprogrammed and reorientated into thinking that way. And to do that, you have to counter years of programming that they've received in an opposite direction.
Mr. Subera, what kind of response have you been getting on the book? Have a lot of college campuses or universities been purchasing the book to teach it in their different economics classes, or have private citizens been buying the book to better their businesses or their personal income?
Well, basically, I've not done well on the college campus because of the corporate orientation. College students, unfortunately, buy whatever the teacher says buy. And the teacher doesn't say it's going to be on the final, you're not going to have to make a term paper on it, then they don't buy it.
Exactly.
So, but most of my books are bought by people who've been in the work world for half a dozen years or so, who understand that they're never really going to get ahead simply by working a 9-to-5 job, and have decided that they're going to start something on the side, part-time, to earn some income, and if that thing becomes really successful, then they have a vehicle to utilize and will enable them to leave their job altogether, which is a lot of people's dream. So those are the kinds of people that basically buy my literature, and I would say in the last 11 years I've sold close to 80,000 copies of all the books total.
Okay.
Do you think it is a task for an African American to start or begin his or her own business in America?
Is it a task?
Yeah, as far as being something that it's easily to get into, starting your own business and controlling and things like that.
Okay, I'm not understanding the question totally.
Because we're talking about blacks owning their own businesses.
Right.
There are not that many blacks that own businesses.
Okay,
what I'm
it's
trying
about
to find out,
500,000.
Right. What I'm trying to find out is why aren't there more African Americans who own their own businesses here in the community as well as around the country?
Well, it's a lot of things. First of all, as I said before, most of us are programmed to get the good job, and we see that as being the most secure thing to do. When you talk about business, you're talking about having to either have some savings that you put aside to invest in the business, which a lot of us don't have, or we're talking about being able to borrow money from a source like a bank or some investors, which a lot of us have difficulty in doing. A lot of it has to do with role models. It's a way of thinking. It's just like a lot of us don't think in terms of maybe being vegetarians because we've grown up around people who serve ham hocks and chicken and steak all our lives. So it's a way of thinking. It's a lifestyle that a lot of us are not exposed to, and it really takes a kind of a reorientation from the normal kinds of things that we're programmed into to really see yourself as a business person.
And how can the average person become a business person? Say I have $1,000 saved, and it's going to be hard for me to get a loan. Should I like go out and borrow from family members, or go to a neighborhood grocery store and ask for a loan, or what?
Well, the first thing that you should do is to identify what it is that you want to sell. Most things in this country can be sold on a part-time basis, whether that be real estate, insurance, balloons, wigs, or fixing people's fingernails. Almost everything can be done on a part-time basis.
So you're saying keep the 8 to 5 and then have something on the side until that established?
Right, exactly. Because although a lot of people have learned how to swim by just jumping in the water, a lot of people have drowned by jumping in the water as well.
Exactly.
So I'm not really advocating anybody cutting all ties unless, of course, they think it fits their particular situation. Most people can sell what they like. And a lot of people like music, they like clothes, they like shoes, they like hats, they like property. So if a person can focus on the thing that's either a hobby to them or something that interests them, they usually can get really into it, put time into it that is not considered boring, and then promote that particular product to the general marketplace.
So the main thing is to do something that you enjoy doing,
right,
and therefore it can become a success.
Right, right.
And that's leading into the second book that we spoke about, getting black folks to sell.
Right.
Could you elaborate on the publication, on the book that?
Well, you have a lot of people who will say on one side of their mouth that they're interested in going involved in business, and then on the other side of their mouth, you'll hear them say that they don't like selling and that they can't sell. That is a contradiction in concept. That's a contradiction in term. You are not in business if you are not selling something. And if you fail to sell whatever product or service that you are out to market, then you'll soon be out of business. So I find that it was important to put together a publication that really addresses some of the hang-ups that African Americans have in selling a product, talking about some of the fears that some of them have in terms of being dependent on an income that's not guaranteed, in terms of selling both to the black and the white communities. What kinds of things do you do and why do you do it? What do you expect and why are these things going to be happening? So there's a lot of things that I try to cover. I talk about how to sell. I also talk about why we haven't gotten into sales, say in the last 100 years, why we haven't been really into that. We were brought here in this country as a people to do labor, and that's the way we've been programmed. And that's pretty much the way we've made our living, by the sweat of our brow and not by, you know, our ability to move a product. So when a person is clear about where they are, usually they're in a better position to move on to the next stage.
So getting black folks to sell. This is something that that is recommended to someone who's starting a business, because you say any business you have to sell something, even if it's a product or a service. So this is like a manual to help one to better understand the problems, the situations, and things that you'll encounter as far as going out to sell your products or service.
Right, and it really doesn't make a difference whether a person is already in business or just starting a business, because as I tell people all the time, one of the values of a book is the ideas that it gives you. You just don't read a book just to drain the information of what the author is saying. You also read a book to spark an idea that's not yet fully developed in your own mind. And so people find value in my books because they do both things. They generate ideas that just needed one more little component before it kind of blossomed in their own head.
Now, is there a difference? The name of the book is entitled Getting Black Folks to Sell. Now, Mr. Subira, is there a difference between an African American selling an item or selling a service or product in another race, a different culture, since this book is geared to African Americans?
Right.
What is the difference between myself, if I wanted to sell something, and a person of another culture or background?
Well, there's a lot of difference. First of all, people in other cultures who have not had to come up under slavery understand principles of merchandising and commerce because their culture has never been interrupted, okay? They were never put in a situation where they were cared for by another group of people, and so they understand very clearly that if you don't market yourself and your product, that you will not have an income to support yourself with. In our particular community, many of us do not understand that the only way that anybody gets paid is because somebody is selling something to get the money to pay you. Okay, so we need a reorientation. Also, there is the feeling among our people that the black community is poor, and so therefore they don't have the money to buy things, when in fact that's not true.
I know, speaking on that, wouldn't you say that African Americans spend the most money in the economy? I mean, we may not have the lump sum, but as a people, we do put the most money into the economy.
Well, I think we spend a higher proportion of our income than other people do. We save less than, and that's one of the reasons why we have a difficult time getting loans from a bank, is because we don't have any savings to draw those loans from. We're really asking to borrow somebody else's money at the time we're going to a bank for a loan.
And why do you think black people or African Americans don't support each other in business?
Well, one of the reasons is because we have not learned selling skills. I mean, when you say support each other, a person will buy from you if you sold him on the viability of your product or service. A lot of us expect our people to buy from us just because we're black and just because we're there without having to open our mouth to say anything. And of course, nobody's just going to walk up and just give you their money.
Exactly.
So until we understand that selling skills are just as relevant to our success in business as is everybody else's, we're going to suffer from some of these kind of backward situations.
I agree. And on that note, we're going to have to take a quick commercial break, so stay tuned for more Positive Black Talk.
Oh, isn't she special, Bob? Look at those eyes.
Congratulations,
You've got a lot on the line. Don't blow it with cocaine.
A message from the physicians of the Louisiana State Medical Society.
Hi, and welcome back to Positive Black Talk. We're still here at Black Expo USA here at the Exposition Center, and we're still, yes, it seems like it's filling up a little bit. Right now we're still talking to Mr. Subira about the two books that are here. We just spoke about Black Folks' Guide to Making Big Money in America and also Getting Black Folks to Sell. We spoke about, before we went to the commercial break, about African Americans supporting one another. And you are an African American author, so you fall in the same position as far as buying your service or buying your product. The question I want to raise is, you said that there is a training process to get, as far as if I have a business, I should direct my service and elaborate on my product and my quality rather than my skin color to sell that product.
I don't understand the question.
The question is, you said that one should not use the color of his skin to sell a product, but it should be as an aid to, as any other thing, to sell it to someone.
Well, what I'm basically saying is that just because you are black, you should not expect all black Americans in your locale to form a line around your store to give you their money. You have the same responsibility to show them what value they're going to get for their dollar, because they work hard for their money and they want a fair return for their money. Now, I personally am more inclined to support a black enterprise if I have the choice between the two, but I clearly have to see I'm getting adequate value for my money. Now, given the same product, more or less the same price, and two different people of two different groups selling it, I personally am going to lean more towards supporting somebody from my own community. But unfortunately, a lot of us feel that we should just give our money to any black person, and that I don't think that washes. I don't.
But sometimes it's the complete opposite. I may be envious of you because you are an author and you have books and you've sold over 80,000 copies. That's like the mental attitude, whereas I wouldn't bring my child to a black doctor because black doctors aren't any good. I think most African Americans in our community, some of them have problems with dealing with each other.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. And that has a lot to do with, to a certain extent, some of their experience. Some of them have actually had bad experiences with black professionals, particularly in the building trades. I hear more people complaining about black plumbers and electricians and contractors and cement mixers and so forth than any other fields. But most black people I know prefer a black barber, a black beauty care person, a black doctor. Sometimes in law, they like to go with somebody other than black because they feel that the judge